Hi everyone, I'm Cal Spriggs. I recently got back from the Games Workshop 2023 Grand Narrative event. I'm going to tell you all about it. So this is the second year I've attended the Games Workshop Grand Narrative event. This year it was set in the Palat system, and it had a really neat theme tying all the storyline together as far as this unknown command entity that was running the planet. And each faction in turn was trying to help, destroy, or rescue the command entity. My first game was against a Dark Angel player, and this was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed playing this opponent because he and I had played previously at a competitive Games Workshop event. Really great guy, tons of fun. Unfortunately for me, the dice were definitely not in my favor. As you can see here, there's no models left on the table for me, really, and Dark Angels are triumphant holding the center. I did, however, achieve my faction goals, which more about that later. Each of the factions or packs had their own Lord of War, their leader. This one here was Inquisitor Van Cantrell, who was walking around in full armor. There was also the Exalted Leader, which was the leader of my pact, the Pact of Resistance, who gave us all kinds of secretive missions that all turned out for the best in the end, I'm sure. Additionally, each of the rooms had their vox localums, their speakers for their various rooms that we were fighting in. All of the rooms had themes, and all of the vox localum characters were all tied into those themes, so it was a really cool narrative event that added a lot of flavor to what we were doing and playing. Now, my first battle on day 2 was against Thousand Suns. It was a really cool list with Magnus, a Sicarian, Terminators, a bunch of Rubrics, and even a couple Relic Contemptors. Now, this was a really cool battle. It was on an awesome map. There was some robots dangling down and all kinds of really cool stuff. I ended up with a showdown between Magnus and Alfarius, in which Alfarius bravely ran away and let Magnus get shot in the face, las cannons, as one would. And then my librarian off on the side had a showdown where he in turn got zapped by a couple sorcerers. I pulled out a victory, although this was a very close fought battle. My second battle on day 2 was a really cool battle against Crimson Fists. Now, this one was one of those scenario battles that really favored the defender, where I just had to hold out on one objective, and that really played to my advantage because the Crimson Fist player was Ryan. Really great guy, a lot of fun to play against. He had to basically throw his whole army trying to push me off all 3 objectives to make sure there at the end I didn't have the victory. Now, I was fortunate enough to pull it off, but it was a very hard-fought battle. Now, while I had my battle against Ryan, over on the other table, my wife, with her Thousand Suns, was up against Sergeant Steele with his Cadian Imperial Guard. Now, this was an epic battle and a really awesome map. They had lava, they had drillers, and then Sergeant Steele had his flyers in here with his Marauder and his Thunderbolt. And it was really cool. I swung by a couple times after my battle wrapped up. There were a lot of people dropping by to see it. Speaking of cool maps, they had this really epic one that looked like some kind of desert palace or possibly even Prospero. Really epic map. It had a lot of height variation, and watching orcs and Imperial Guard play on it was really cool. Speaking of really cool orc armies, I got to play against Hunter and Courtney with their glitter orcs. Now, these were really a sight to be seen. The video and photos I took really don't do them justice. Some really crazily painted orcs. They looked awesome, and then the 2 players for these 2 armies of orcs and goblins had their own themed outfits and stuff. It was awesome. They were super fun to play with. We got a 3rd game with them on Saturday, where my Alpha Legion and my wife's Thousand Suns faced off, and this was a really fun game. It was especially fun because it gave us some variety, because up to that point my wife and I had basically only fought Space Marines or a variant, like in the case where I got to go against Thousand Suns. That leads me into day 3, and my final battle was against Chaos Knights. Now, this was a very tough Chaos Knights army to fight. They had all kinds of Crusade upgrades, including devastating wounds on some of their really powerful weapons. So it was an uphill fight from the start. I ended up getting tabled basically there at the very end. It was an interesting army. It was a neat painted army, and it was a challenging fight, but definitely you saw how one high-level Crusade army can trounce another army that's not quite so proficient. One of the great things about this event is that it is sort of a team-based event. You have your battle group that you fight alongside with and you go through the various campaigns with. And I had a great group of people I was with. They were all awesome. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed my time with them. Overall, the event was a lot of fun. I got to meet a whole lot of neat people. I got to hang out with a lot of people that I've met at other events. Highly recommend the Games Workshop Grand Narrative. I will be going again next year if at all possible. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other content. Feel free to check out my books as well. I've got 40 published novels at this point, with another one coming here at the end of the month. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching.